This is a Distillery Channel network production, bringing you the distillerychannel.com. Hello, everybody. It's Mardi Gras Day. It is Fat Tuesday. And welcome to another edition of the Distillery Channel featuring myself and Rob Ladd. Rob, are you there?
Yes, sir. I am here, Randy.
Oh, that's good. We got quite a little crowd in here today. We had about 10 or 12 of them walking around the pond and getting ready to duck some severe weather that's going to be coming through here. But we're going to get the show in, and then we're going to start having a toddy or two and watch the fireworks of lightning. So anyway, how's everything down in the central Illinois area? Is it calm?
There is severe weather coming, and on the way home, I did find a place that I am going to take shelter, a little bar down the road. They have a big sign out front that says, "We have beer as cold as your ex-wife's heart."
Oh, my God.
So
no.
That is some cold beer, sir.
I'm not going to comment on that. My ex-wives are the mother of my children, and I honor them every day, and we cherish them for being the mothers. But we're going to talk rum today. What makes rum? We got a nice little crowd here that came in to find out all the fun facts about rum, and I know you've been doing some interesting background on that. And just to talk about how rum is made, basically rum is made as a sugarcane product. And
absolutely.
Cut. Reading today, it's generally hand cut, and they put it into molasses or whatever. And what's interesting about rum is that some places just use the air and they let it distill, and others use yeast to put in, to make it go a little bit faster. But the formulas are kept very secretly of the winning rums. So we're going to talk rum, and so that's how we make rum in our lessons. We're going to have a segment every week now that's going to be every show featuring how things are made. And rum is pretty simple, but the formulas are complicated and well hidden. And we're going to call up a rum distiller here in a couple of weeks. But this is our Key West Part 2 because Key West is the big area for that. And you found some areas pertaining to rum, didn't you, Rob, that you found sort of a highlight that you came up with?
Sure, yeah. I was doing the research, and of course I had to splash a little bit in my Coke just to inspire me to do some research.
Well, this should be very factual research, if I can say it.
Yes. Never let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Absolutely not.
That.
No. So go ahead. We'll sort out the truth from the fiction here in a minute.
Yes. Well, I did find out that sugarcane originally was grown in Southeast Asia, and all the explorers picked up sugarcane and brought them with them as they explored the world. And Columbus actually brought sugarcane with him to the Caribbean, and sugarcane got transplanted all around the world in all the favorable climates.
Isn't that interesting?
So,
that would be one of the things he'd bring with him.
That's what he found, and it is.
Huh.
And there were a number of other explorers that did the same, and they transplanted a crop just all around that the climate, equator climate around the world.
Uh-huh.
And, because the sugar was so highly prized as a spice, and what happened was they found out the molasses, which was just from the refining process, was just a throwaway. Nobody, particularly wanted molasses. And if you had added a little water to it and left it set out, it'd start to ferment and turned into alcohol.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
What?
So I guess it just dawned on me, if it hadn't been for Columbus, we would not have diabetes today because none of us would have sugar. So he was a hero of big pharma today. So.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Christopher.
Yes.
They should have have his picture. Should have Christopher Columbus Sugar Cane Company or something like that. That's funny.
Yes.
It would be sugar by the half pinta or the ninta. I have a half pinta of sugar. What? Well, that was the last ship. I don't know. Go ahead. I didn't mean to divert you, but it just occurred to me.
That's okay.
Everybody in my family has diabetes, and it's all Christopher Columbus's fault. So we'll just send him the bill. So. They're not growing. Not that I'm. It's sort of like the school of diversion right now, but they're not growing. They're shutting down growing sugarcane on Maui.
Really?
Yeah, that was a big deal over there, and it's been quite a thing because they used to. The last time I was there, when they had burned the crops off, it would just sit in the valley and just terrible air pollution. But go ahead with your story, Rob. Now that I diverted you all over from diabetes to Maui, sort of the Sesame Street of let's learn about rum. So go ahead now. It's all yours.
All right.
All right.
So, in the beginning.
One more thing, Rob, about rum. I guess it comes in different colors. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's white rum, there's golden rum, there's dark rum, there's spice rums. And basically, the color comes from aging, and they add caramel, which is just burnt sugar. Uh-huh. So they add, in the special recipe, certain amounts of caramel into it for color, and then it's aged in oak barrels. So, that kind of flows down the line by the different classes of rum, their flavor, makeup, and whatnot. There's where those complicated recipes come in with all your distillers. But, back in the beginning, there was Barbados. Like all the rest of the Caribbean islands, they had sugarcane. Well, I had no idea this, but back in the 1600s, there was a fairly large Jewish population in South America, and they were becoming quite persecuted, and were some 300 Jews fled to Barbados, were exiled from South America, and they actually stumbled onto this distilling process, and they started distilling rum in Barbados, and that was the original island in the Caribbean where it came from.
Huh.
And, yes, and back in 1663, Mount Gay Distillery opened up and was distilling rum, and, it quickly became traded all around the world. In fact, being pre-oil days, rum was the world currency.
Really?
Trade, it was universal. Yes, I mean, you traded. They were hauling rum to the north, up to Canada's in Newfoundland, to Maine, to the northern provinces, where dried salted cod was a big commodity. They were trading rum for cod, and then. Rum went to Africa, on the ships were making the triangle, rum to cod to, or sugarcane or molasses, to the distilleries, and into Africa, picked up slaves back to the Caribbean to work the plantations, more sugarcane, so the circle of life was in those days, but rum was the universal currency.
Huh. That is just fascinating. I mean, we sort of talked about that when we went to Costa Rica, and we heard the same thing. People left Costa Rica to go up to the East Coast. We talked about it in our last show, but rum is, it's a basic drink of mine when I was in college. I mean, rum and a Coke,
absolutely.
And down at Key West, I mean, they have, fabulous rum.
Right. Well, when I was out in the Outer Banks, North Carolina, there's a town up there called Kill Devil Hills, which I found that's a strange name. What on earth does that mean? Well, it was a big port out there for the rum trade, and the rum runners and the pirates, came in there. And in the beginning, before they called it rum, they called the spirit Kill Devil because of the nasty, nasty hangovers you got from it.
Oh, that's awesome. Why not?
So that's the name of the town, Kill Devil Hills, in the Outer Banks.
Huh. That is just incredible. Well, that is some fascinating stuff. So if we go down to Barbados, you will be the sommelier. I never can pronounce that word. It's a wine term. Sommelier. What it is?
So I am voting that we go to Barbados. Looking at the island. golly, I want to go to this Mount Gay distillery that's, almost 350 years old. I want to go see this thing. And Barbados, I guess, has a renowned nightlife, so I'm all in for that.
I find that shocking. Yeah. Jesus.
So I think this is one of the adventures that we should ask around and see if there aren't some other people who want to go to Barbados with us.
Well, as we said early in the show, we're gonna make some big announcements. Sort of left that out talking about rum, but to close out the show, we're going to make some announcements how we're going to be doing our trips and some great things that are coming forward. And we want to right now just take the time to talk about the Wisconsin Distillers Guild that we are now part of. We are very honored to have been asked this past week to become an associate member of the Wisconsin Distillers Guild, and had an event up in Madison that you're well aware of that had some tastings. It was an incredible event about a week ago this last Saturday. But the Wisconsin Distillers Guild has, it basically brings a lot of the distilleries together to sit and talk about their particular industry, how they can do better, how they can serve their people and keep everybody safe and healthy. And all of them have great, unique stories. Some of them we're just going to feature. I'm just going to give a little sound out here to top 4 or 5. 45th Parallel Spirits are in New Richmond, Wisconsin. We've got Central Standard that's in Milwaukee. We've got Apple Trio Winery and Distillery. Now, that's a new combination. That's one of the things that we're going to be highlighting. And there's going to be some forward motion I'll talk about in a minute, putting winery, distilleries, and breweries together all under one umbrella. And that's in Burlington, Wisconsin. Chippewa River Distillery and Brewery, great place up in Chippewa Falls. And Doric County up in Sturgeon Bay, just a fantastic distillery. And we'll be trying to get all these people on air as time goes on. And the Wisconsin Distillers Guild, we're going to have them on air. We're going to have the president on in our inaugural 1 or 2 hour show that's going to be starting again, and we'll be talking about that here in a minute. Anyway, a lot of information can be found at the WisconsinDistillersGuild.com. So all of you, if you're traveling in Wisconsin and you're going to Wisconsin, go to WisconsinDistillersGuild.com.
Well, the big question is, are they sending us samples?
You know what? We're working on that. We'd like to have some swag, a T-shirt, a little something for the effort, getting them out there. But I am sure we're going to be well taken care of as we go on the Distillery Channel trails and begin working in that. Because the Distillery Channel trails is going to be when our new website is rolled out here very soon. Is going to be when you're traveling through Wisconsin. You can go and, because when you go into one of these particular distilleries, and let's say you go in and you drink for a couple hours, what's the first question you're going to have? Where can I go get something to eat? And then the next question is going to be, where can I go sleep? So we want to have on the Distillery Channel trails all of those particular places that come to mind when you're out getting in your car with your friends and family, or just your friends, or just you and Sweetheart, or just yourself on the weekend, going from these, little road trip, places to eat, places to drink, places to sleep, and find places of entertainment. So we're going to have a lot of help on that. So that can be found at the distillerychannels.com, the Trails program. So getting back to Barbados and maybe leaving that, a couple news items that came out. The big segment that we talked about in the last show was about the taxation in the world of distilleries. Started with George Washington. There's a lot of legislation going through that the distilleries have to, they're impeded. And there's just some legislation, Rob, that we did that Virginia show, and the state of Virginia just passed some new laws that's going to make it easier for distilleries actually to sell bottles of their brands at events. So they opened that up completely. So we're going to be focusing on Virginia and whatever events they might have down there. And
yes.
So
surprisingly, there are still some prohibition-era laws, governing these private distilleries, the small craft distilleries, and each state has its own battle.
Right.
As you know, remember in Georgia when you stop to visit some of the distilleries in Georgia, like the hoops they have to jump through just to sell their product is incredible.
Yeah, it just seems like from state to state they all have, and again, we had a very passionate distiller in the state of Georgia, remain nameless right now, but he's very passionate about it. And he said, in my distillery, we have all this legislation, and you can have a winery across the street. Nothing. There's nothing impeding a winery or a brewery in the way that the distilleries are. And it's just a little unfair. So we're going to be, in our new show segment, we're going to have a little bit of the highlight, what's going on. We're not going to get involved in the politics of it. We're certainly going to report it and support the industry. And the reason for that is that we want everybody just to drink responsibly and be entertained. But this is a big segment of America that's going forward. We are the platform and the voice of the small craft industry. And it could be a large craft industry as we go on. But we've been asked and supported by some of the larger entities in the industry to be a platform to get this message out. And that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to get back to that in a minute. But there are some humorous anecdotes that I found just for the moment. And now we're going to go into the joke of the day. And these are just some one-liners I think are pretty funny when people are drinking. It comes from drunkard.com. We're not advocating for Drunkard, but they seemingly have a great website. But they do have some great things in there. They say you like to drink when you like to drink between drinks. And taking the edge off sometimes transitions into good morning and where the heck am I? It says some days you can barely stand to be around sober people, especially when that sober person is you. And then it also says, in regards to yourself, you set elaborate traps for your hangovers. Anyway, it says in here, in Costco, you'll repeatedly ask your spouse, are you sure that's a good deal? But in their liquor mart, these are all great screwing deals, honey. It just depends where you're at. Your language changes and your passion follows. So, anyway, the last thing in this segment, it simply says, sober up suggests something positive, and fun is happening when you think the phrase should be changed to sober down. So, I had to think about that one for a minute. It's almost sounded like George Carlin wrote that, but anyway, so Barbados. Do we need any more information about Barbados, Rob? It seems like you want to go there.
Well, I want to know who else wants to go. I want to go. Well, I want to get everybody, find out who else wants to go, because you know what? They've got some pretty good golf courses there too. Off the subject a bit, but I do like to, if I'm going to drink, I do like to play golf.
Well, I think that would fit into the trio of the shows that we have. So let's get into the big announcement for the week and for the future. The distillerychannel.com is part of Live Eco Style Inc. And Live Eco Style Inc. brings programs that are called distillerychannel.com. Soon will be Distilleries of the World, 1 hour show, and it'll be in concert with Where to Play Golf. Where to Play Golf is our award-winning show with Michael Stewart and Tim Bona. Michael Stewart is America's number one golf course writer, and Tim Bona is award-winning destination travel author and expert. And Michael and Tim are going to be coming over with Rob, myself, and Elizabeth Cooper out of Atlanta, who does three syndicated shows. She's a producer, ex-producer, on-air talent. She's featured in movies and has been on the road with the Mike Bend comedy tour. Terrific talent. We're all going to be feeding into, because we need a much larger staff for the shows as they go forward. We're going to be doing 1 or 2 shows a week that'll be under our channel on YouTube and then on iTunes, and then going into a syndication in radio that'll be going across the country. And again, that is going to be very, very rapid. But what we knew we had to do is to increase the format and increase the time that we're going to be on air. So beginning on or about April 1st, we're going to be doing a weekly show, 1 hour long minimum. And again, it could be 2 hours, and it could be twice a week, and it could be over a long period of time. Our shows that are going to be featuring distilleries, breweries, wineries, and many, many different topics that we're going to be talking in terms of travel. Again, we talk about legislation. It's going to be very, very comedic. It's going to be off the rails most of the time. We're going to have the joke of the day. We're going to have the feature of the day. We're going to have the destination of the day. And we're going to look for what the highlight that's going on in the calendar. So when everybody is out having festivals, and when you're out, let's say, on a weekend and you have something funny that happens, what I'd like you to do is go to our Facebook page or our Instagram, take some pictures and sort of, let us know you've done that. You can go to Facebook or Twitter and message me at Randy at the distillerychannel.com. But send us your stories, and if they're good enough, we want to get you on air and have you tell those stories. It's going to be a lot of fun. I had some come from this last Saturday night I'm still sorting out. But it's going to be, Rob, y'all ready to do this? Are you ready to hit the road and go have some fun?
Yeah. I am ready. I am ready, Randy, because beer is now cheaper than gas. So I say drink, don't drive.
Well, I think beer could actually be cheaper than water in some places that I've seen. I'll tell you what, I got done working out. We're actually going to have a workout section on our Distillery Channel website, and I think it's going to be rather funny. It could be useful, I'm not sure, but it'll make sure that our elbows and wrists are in shape.
Yes.
One of the cool things we're going to do, we're also, as we go forward, we're going to have live events on the weekends, working in concert with distilleries, wineries, or breweries. So if you're one of those out there and you'd be interested in having us come do a live event, get your name in now, because we're going to be lining up nationally the logistics of taking our team on the road. Again, it's going to be a lot of fun. We also have travel and trips that are going to be segmented where when you're talking about going to Barbados, Rob, it wasn't just happenstance that Rob talked about it today, because we are going to be featuring travel and trips for our listeners. Yes, I know. Thank you. I know y'all out there sitting out here, and I've got a nice little crew watching today. Y'all can sign up and go with us. No, I'm not paying for it. No, none of you. We're going to go have some fun. No, I'm not paying for you either. I don't care if I'm related to you. You're not getting it. But it's going to be anywhere from islands to Hawaii to Texas to the northwest coast to New York. I've looked into New York is a big state. I know we did some research out there. Do you remember doing that? We looked into the wineries and the breweries and the distilleries in New York.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
There were some really interesting places out there that I'd hope to see. I mean, New York is a large state.
Yeah.
And it's more than just a city, that's for sure.
Yeah, they actually support the industry in New York tremendously, and even financially. And but the other thing is, so while we're called to distillerychannel.com, one of the other big announcements that goes with this particular announcement is that in all of our travels, we had gone from Hawaii to the East Coast, north the United States to Key West. And this legislation, even though you have wineries, breweries, and distilleries, I didn't see any real great agitation. I didn't think one stepped on the other. So actually, that was confirmed in a meeting that I was at this 2 weeks ago, where breweries and wineries, because wineries are now getting into distilling, and breweries, they have no problem with distilleries or wineries supporting them. It's just it's what's going on today. So you'll find at our website that we support breweries, distilleries, and wineries, and what better way to have a group of people that support a local distillery, and we create a trip to take them to Napa to see wineries that, because sometimes people that go to distilleries like wine, or vice versa, or want to go play golf with us or go to distilleries in the Northwest Quadrant. Then there's great wineries out there. But we're going to bring it all together. And we're going to have wine.
You know what would be really cool, Randy?
Yeah.
Is if we could find, if we could look around and find some celebrities or, famous people that might want to go on these trips with us.
Well, not to mention any names, Rob. We're not going to let that out of the hat right now. But yes, if you go to our website, if you have somebody that you think would be fun, from a famous chef to a famous golfer to an entertainer, somebody that strums the guitar, a motivational speaker, a naturalist, somebody that's in the green industry, or somebody that's just in the distillery, brewery, winery industry you think it'd be interesting to bring along, drop us a note again, and we'll see how many other people want to do the same thing. Is that what you're talking about, Rob?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, that sounds good to me. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. Coming up in our first inaugural show, we're going to be having the head of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail talk about Kentucky, so we're probably going to go down there and do a show down in Kentucky. And because, as I heard, Rob, there's one or maybe a couple distilleries in Kentucky. Is that what you found out?
Yes, there is. Some of the biggest and most famous of them. And you know what would be fun, Randy? Keeneland is just right there north of Lexington. We could stop and watch the ponies run, and we could go to a couple distilleries, and there's some good golf courses down there too. So, we could have us a high old time if we got some people together who wanted to go to Kentucky with us.
Yeah, if we could find a spot or two, or a golf course or two, or a casino or two, or Nashville or two. Now, Nashville's not in Kentucky, right? That's in Tennessee.
That's correct. It's in Tennessee.
Don't they have the Tennessee Bourbon Trail? They got trails all over the place down there. Well, again, geography was not my highlight, Rob, and that's why I do a distillery show. It's we got to go with our strength. But anyway, I think those mancations, those girl getaways, those couples trips, and from millennials to us, what do they call us? Little baby boomers.
I think they call us old farts.
No, hey, nah, hey, no. You take that title. I'm youthful. My doctor gave me an extra 250,000 miles. Anyway, we're wrapping it up, Rob. Thanks a lot for a great show. Everybody tune in. Go to the distillerychannel.com. Go to our YouTube channel, distillerychannel.com, and Facebook and Twitter, and again on Instagram. Follow us everywhere. Again, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Rob.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.